There you are. I do hope you slept well. Not that I really care about what happens to you. I would just hate for you to fall asleep before I decide what to do with you. I'm not sure what you expect to do to me. You weren't really much of a threat before, but you're even less of one now, especially with those chains on. Collared like a puppy, and as intimidating as one as well. Tell me, little puppy, what exactly were you hoping to accomplish? Invading my castle, sneaking into my dungeons, and even managing to kill some of my guards. What were you looking for? And was it really worth it? Oh my. You're more clueless than I thought you were. Those humans down in the dungeon, they do not wish to be free. What am I getting at? Exactly what I said, of course. Are you that out of hearing? Now, the humans before them probably would have longed for their freedom, but they are, of course, long dead. All that is left of them in their place are the new generation of livestock, humans bred to be cattle, and they are just as mindless, knowing only captivity. They do not care about anything. They want for nothing. They exist only to serve as food for me and my subjects. I'm sorry to say, you came all this way for nothing. You say that none of the other bordering nations would allow something like me to exist. Oh my. You're much more clueless than I thought you were. It seems you are in need of a history lesson. But don't worry. I'll try to keep it as brief as possible, so as not to waste both of our time. You see, many, many years ago, for you at least, for me it feels as if it happened only yesterday, this nation was under the rule of another vampire, much more ruthless and uncaring. During his reign, the nation was much more lawless than it is now. He allowed his brood to feast upon the populace at their leisure and spread their vampirism like a plague. Just for a moment, imagine hell on earth, and I guarantee whatever you're thinking, it was much, much worse. If ever there was a vampire who needed to die, it was him. And the one who killed him, well, it was yours truly, of course. Me and my party of adventurers stormed the castle, the very same ones we are in now, and I killed the fucker. So, unlike you, I did not make a fool of myself by stumbling around and making noise. However, I did not escape the fight unscathed. I had contracted sanguinary vampiris, and after 3 days' time, I had become a fledgling vampire. I found the process surprisingly liberating. Afterwards, I spent weeks and months culling the remaining vampires who were loyal to their previous master. And during that time, an idea struck. With the previous ruler dead, there was a power vacuum in its place. A vampire much worse would likely fill the role. So I figured, for the good of the nation, I would do well to fill in the role myself, to repeat such a tragedy from repeating, which is exactly what I attempted to do. I came back to this very castle and saw exactly what I had predicted. Several vampires fighting amongst themselves, all to see who would become the next ruler. I told them that as of that moment, they all belonged to me. And of course, they predicted how I had anticipated as well. Some laughed in my face, others were enraged. How dare this unknown fledgling try to come in here and command us? That is what some of them said. And so, I responded with this. I took the potato sack that I was carrying with me at the time and dumped the contents of it on the ground. Can you guess? Can you guess what was inside the potato sack? My, you are more morbid than I thought you were, but nonetheless correct. Yes, inside the potato sack was the severed heads of the various vampires I had killed over the months. I dumped them all on the floor in front of me, and I told them, if any of you think you can add my head to this collection, feel free to try and take it. And as you can see, none of them were successful in the least. And so, the rather messy discussion of who would be taking charge of the vampires of the nation had been settled in less than 5 minutes. After that business was done, I continued to cull them. Anyone who showed signs of loyalty to their previous ruler, or simply anyone who showed signs of betraying me at all, I killed them preemptively and without a second thought. And sometimes I did so simply to make a point. That point being that I am not to be fucked with. So I suppose if there are still idiot humans like you, I suppose I did not make that message clear enough. But moving on, some more months down the line, and the rulers of the bordering nations gathered for their annual meeting. The main topic of conversation: how to deal with the evil vampire lord. Little did they know that the former ruler had already been killed. So I figured I should drop by and tell them of the good news. The look of horror on their faces. It was something to savor. After informing them of the news, I gave them the idea to supply me with fresh blood. So I can tell you, it did not take much persuasion to convince them, as weak-minded as they were. Then again, I can be quite charming, no? And then one of them spoke up and had a truly brilliant, marvelous idea. So marvelous, I wish I had come up with it myself. Have the prisoners from every prison of each nation delivered to my castle and breed them for livestock. A truly fantastic idea, no? I mean, humans breed cattle for their meat all the time. So, why can I not do the same with humans for their blood? There are now farms, actual farms, for breeding human meat and blood. The prisoners you saw down in the dungeon? My personal blood supply. Oh, you're getting so worked up, and I haven't even told you the best part yet. After so many years of breeding, and the more rebellious humans have finally died, they have all but lost their will to fight. More so, they seem as mindless as sheep. No thoughts of their own. No will. Nothing. Just like livestock should be. A monster, am I? Tell me, is a lion a monster for eating a gazelle? Is a wolf a monster for eating a rabbit? Or are they simply doing what they are programmed to do in order to stay alive? Tell me, are you a monster? You eat meat, don't you? You like beef, yes? Pork. Does it make the hunters monsters? Or the farmers? Or are you humans simply doing what you are programmed to do to stay alive? Is it not that base need for survival that drives you to do so? Because it is exactly what drives me. The only reason you despise it so much is simply because you now find yourselves at the bottom of the food chain. You humans have found yourself in a position where You are no longer the apex predators you thought you were. Just like animals and humans need meat, vampires must feed off blood in order to survive. So I suppose I cannot blame you too harshly. I mean, I would be angry too if I were as weak as you. What was that? Your mother? Is that why you did all this? Please tell me you are not so stupidly impulsive that you came all this way into the lion's den simply to come looking for Mommy. Yes, that is what I said. The criminals of other nations are sent directly here. Oh, your mother was a criminal, was she? Oh, and what exactly did Mommy get accused of? You say she was falsely accused. Well, that is not my problem. I am only the executioner. If you wanted to prove Mommy's innocence, you should have taken that up with the judge. No, I do not think so. You will not be going anywhere. As I said already, it was a mistake for you to come here. You came looking for trouble, and now you have found it. Oh, I have an idea. I can keep you chained up just like this, and then I will drag you down to the dungeons, and you can point out which of these sheep is your mother. The sound of your screams at the sight of me burying my fangs in your mother's throat will be like fine music paired with a gorgeous feast. Funny, I never much cared for fine dining, but I am hoping that you will give me a brand new appreciation for it. What's up, Wolfpack? It's Wolf0 back with another video. I don't do many originals because it's very hard for me to come up with anything original. Not necessarily that I can't come up with anything original, it's just that one, it's very hard for me to write a script, and two, it's very hard for me to just sit down and speak. There are many people who can just sit down and ramble off in front of the mic, and I deeply envy those people because that is something I can't do. It usually takes me hours to do so, though this didn't take as long as I'm hoping, so I'm really hoping this turned out well. If this does well, I can see about trying to make more original audios, though I can't promise they'll all be this long. Some may be much shorter than normal, some might be longer. I'm not sure. I'm very out of practice when it comes to this kind of thing. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it. And while y'all are here, please don't forget to check out the ASMR RP Lounge Discord server. There you will find many other very, very talented VAs. That server is almost always active. There's always something to do there, always someone to talk to, and they are all very, very friendly, and I can guarantee they would deeply enjoy meeting you. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please check out the link down below. And with that being said, thank you all very much for enjoying this audio and listening to this audio, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.